Good afternoon. Today I am going to start from political science book. The chapter is constitutional design, page number 43. The South African is a good example. They have a good example way to understand why we need a constitution and what do constitution do. The oppressor and the oppressed in this new democracy were planning to live together. They were planning in a democracy, they were planning to live together as equals within a equality. It was not going to be easy for them to trust each other. They had their fears. They wanted to safeguard their interests. The black majority was needing to ensure that democratic principles of majority rule was not compromised. They wanted substantial social and economic rights. Not only that they need a constitution, along with this they want the social, the majority, the social and the economic rights. The white minority was needing to protect its privileges and property. The white minority, they were not protecting the privileges and they were property and the privileges and the property. After a long negotiation, both parties agreed to compromise. Both are ready, majority as well as minority. The whites agreed to the principle of majority rule and that of one person, one vote. Now whites were ready with the majority that one person will give one vote. They also agreed to accept some basic rights for the poor and the workers. The blacks agreed that majority rule would not absolute. They agreed that majority would not take away the property of the white minority. This compromise was not easy. How was this compromise going to be implemented? Even if they managed to trust each other, what was the guarantee that this trust will not be broken in future? The only way to build and maintain trust in such a situation is to write down some rules and the game that everyone would abide by. So in South Africa, it was saying that majority and minority, they have to follow the equality according to the constitution. And now here it's written, these rules lay down how the rulers are to be chosen in the future. So in a constitution they have written that how the rulers will be chosen in a future. These rules also determine what the elected governments are empowered to do and what they cannot do. Finally, these rules decide the rights of the citizen. These rules will work only if the winner cannot change them very easily. This is what the South Africans did. So this how to bring the equality and the rights, and one person will give the one vote. This was shown in South Africa. They agreed on some basic rules. All were agreed in basic rules. They also agreed that these rules will be supreme. These rules will be at the top, that no government will be able to ignore it. So here all these rules will be at the top, but no government will ignore. This set of basic rules is called the constitution. This one was known as a constitution. Constitution making is not a unique to South Africa. It was not a new thing. Every country has diverse groups of people. Every country is having a different people, different religion people, different custom caste people. Their relationship may not have been as bad as that between the whites and the blacks in South Africa. But all over the world, people have differences of the opinion and interests. If you will see all over the world, there are many differences among the people and their opinions and the interests. Whether democratic or not, most countries in the world need to have these basic rules. This applies not just to governments. Any association needs to have a constitution. It is not necessary that constitution is only framed in some of the country, but it is also used in other things also. It could be a club also in your area, a cooperative society or a political party. So not only this constitution will be applied for a government, but it will be applied for anything like club in your area or a cooperative society or a political party. They all need a constitution. Without rules and regulation, nothing can be run. Thus, the constitution of a country is a set of written rules that are accepted by the people living together in a country. So you have to underline this is the constitution. Constitution means it is a set of written rules which is accepted by the people to live together in our country. Constitution is the supreme law. It is at the top that determines the relationship among the people living in the territory and also a relationship between the people. A constitution does many things. The constitution does many things. First, it generates a degree of trust and coordination that is necessary for different kind of people to live together. Now in this it is saying that all have to live together. Different kind of people have to live together. In the first thing, the constitution, what it does. Second, it specifies how the government will be constitution. Second thing in a constitution, how the government is working, who will have power to take which decision. Third, it lays down limits on the powers of the government and tells us what rights of the citizens are. The third thing is that in a constitution, which rights will be given to the citizen. Fourth, it expresses the aspirations of the people about creating a good society. Fourth is that it tells about the aspirations of the people about creating a good society. All countries that have constitution are not necessarily democratic. This doesn't mean that if any country, all the countries are having the constitution, it is not necessary that those countries are a democratic. But all the countries that are democratic will have the constitution. Now they are saying that if all countries are having constitution, they are the democratic countries. After the war of the independence against Great Britain, now there was a war against Great Britain, the Americans gave themselves a constitution. The America had helped to give a constitution. After the revolution, the French people approved a democratic constitution. Great Britain also achieved, and the French Revolution, after there was a good democratic constitution. Since then, it is followed practice in all the democracies to have a written constitution. After this Great Britain and French Revolution, after this many countries had followed all the democracies to have a written constitution. So tomorrow I am going to start from page number 45, 3.3.